Here with me now is former NASA astronaut, former commander of the International Space Station, Leroy Chiao. Commander, the relief team for the two astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, it's set to arrive at the International Space Station late tonight. Once they arrive, what's next in the process of getting the two back down to Earth? How are we going to do that?
Sure. No, we had a very successful launch last night, and we saw a flawless launch, actually. And so they will arrive at the station a little bit later tonight. They'll open the hatches, be welcomed on board. Everybody will celebrate their arrival, and then they're going to have a shortened handover, as we saw in your segment there. And what that means is the crew that's on board will kind of take them around, show them the ropes. Of course, they've all been very well trained, but they're just going to show them little things around the station, just to remind them. And then Butch and Sonny and their other two crewmates will get in their spacecraft, which has been docked to the station this whole time, and they will return to Earth. So we're looking forward to having all of them back, but especially Butch and Sonny, since they've been up in space for so long. Usually long duration missions are 6 months in duration. This one was for them, was 9+ months. So I'm sure they're eager to get back.
It's incredible. You know, Butch and Sonny, they've been remarkable in their reports of having been stranded this long in space. What kind of condition are they in? And this is a two-part question. And what do you know about the astronauts that are going to get them, that are actually leading the mission to bring them home?
Sure. So, of course, space flight, there's a lot of biomedical challenges and effects of being in space, especially for long duration. None of them are good. But fortunately, they've both flown long duration missions before, and exercise is very important up in space. And that's why astronauts are scheduled for 2 hours of exercise. That helps mitigate a lot of the issues, like keeping your cardiopulmonary system in shape, keeping your muscles and your bones in shape. The one thing we really can't do much about is they're exposed to higher levels of radiation when they're up there above our atmosphere. And so, but that just kind of is what it is. But they're going to be very dizzy when they get back. That's normal. All of us experience that. They are going to be, kind of have difficulty walking, and it'll take them probably a week or two before they kind of start feeling like they're back to normal. But this is all normal stuff. As for the crew that just launched, I've been out of NASA for some years now, so I don't personally know them, but I'm certain they're very well trained and they're very capable to do their missions. 2 of the 4 have flown before to ISS and have flown long duration missions, so I think they'll be just fine.
You know, obviously the focus, as it should be, is bringing these astronauts home, and I'm grateful to President Trump for doing what Joe Biden wouldn't and engaging, Elon Musk to get this done. But from your experience, we've also got to focus on how do we prevent this in the future and what happened. What could we do better? What could have been done better to prevent unscheduled extended stays at the space station? This is certainly not anything we ever want to happen again.
Well, sure. And this is the first time it's happened. It was on a flight test. Remember, it was a test flight for the Boeing Starliner. Unfortunately, Starliner did not perform as it was supposed to. They had a number of anomalies going to the station, thruster issues, some other unexplained helium issues, or not at the time unexplained. And so the confidence lowered of the wisdom of bringing them back down on that spacecraft. So that spacecraft was brought back empty. It did land successfully, but it just wasn't worth the risk to Butch and Sonny to put them on that spacecraft. So, the decision was made to take 2 people off of the next crew that was launching and then substitute in Butch and Sonny. So, unfortunately, those 2 astronauts who were taken off, I'm not sure where they are. They're in a bit of limbo. They've been training all these years, and hopefully they'll get a chance to fly soon. But you've heard Elon Musk offered to send a separate vehicle up to get them, and he said that the Biden administration rejected that. I don't know if it was for cost or other reasons, but that could have been done. That was an option. Otherwise, they were just kind of stuck up there for the long haul.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So here, I think we all as Americans, we want to hear from these astronauts after they get home. What's kind of the process? I guess they've got to be debriefed. They've got to get re-engaged. How long till we hear from them? I've got about a minute before we've got to wrap.
Sure. Now they'll have a press conference pretty quickly, probably. Certainly in when they land, and they'll probably have a short press conference.
You think the day of, Commander? You think they'll have that press conference the day that they land?
Probably not the day they land, but I would guess the next day they'll probably have a short press
Okay.
conference. But you know, they'll they'll probably be a bit reserved in what they have to say.
Sure, sure. Well, we're all grateful. I know their families are excited to see them, and ultimately, we want to make sure this doesn't happen again. And as we use more of space, SpaceX and Space Forces become more of an issue, we want to make sure that the American, astronauts that we send up, not only are they safe, but we can get them back as expected. Commander, we're so grateful for you. What would you say to these fine astronauts when they get home? Real quick,
Oh,
15
welcome
seconds.
back. I mean, I know Butch and Sonny pretty well, and especially Sonny, but we trained together for a while. And so, yeah, I'm just grateful to see that they're coming home soon.
That's so good. Well, we're so grateful to you, Commander. Thank you for all that you do for our country. Thank you for keeping us informed. And our prayers are that things go well tonight with the return of these astronauts. Thank you so much.